Next, we have our first speaker of the day, Robert Przybilski, or better known as RJ, is a new speaker looking to make an impact as God intends. RJ is an avid runner, gym rat, family man with a passion for encouraging others to achieve their goals and dreams, as well as discovering their life and godly purpose. So welcome, RJ.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster of the night, for that warm introduction. Thank you, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests on here and on Zoom. It's an honor and privilege to be here tonight. So just sit back, relax, because we got a good one in store for you today. And if y'all ready to get started, just say, I'm ready. I'm ready. All right, let's get it. So a lot of you may have heard many stories of overcoming the odds. Underdog stories, if you will. Take, for instance, little David that slayed the giant Goliath with a slingshot and a single stone. Or Rocky Balboa, who knocked out some of the best boxers in the world in the Rocky Balboa movies. Or, if you watched the Super Bowl recently, you witnessed Patrick Mahomes overcome a double-digit point deficit to beating the Philadelphia Eagles despite having a fractured ankle. Now, as a fellow Ravens fan, I can't help but have mad respect for that man, for what he was able to accomplish. But when you think about it, we all have experienced our struggles of overcoming the odds throughout our lifetime. And I'm no exception to that. See, growing up, I struggled academically. Like, I was not the most gifted. As a matter of fact, I tested in the IQ test when I was 4 years old. And I tested so poorly that they actually considered me for retardation. Yeah. It's frowned upon to say nowadays, but that's just what they said back in the, late 90s, give or take? But anyway, but throughout the next few years of my lifetime, I got a lot of help from teachers, coaches, mentors, family members, and even some of my friends. And because of the belief and the hard work that I had to put in, because all that help was only gonna do so much. By doing all of that, my test scores improved dramatically. I personally can't tell you exactly how much improved from that, but what I can tell you is that from my childhood, going up to high school, I learned 3 important lessons about myself that I believe each of you could really benefit from, regardless of where you are in your own personal journey. So let's dive in. The first thing is that I stayed positive and didn't really complain whenever there were these inconveniences that life brought. Now, mind you, whenever these inconveniences did happen, a lot of times I would just take a step back, take a deep breath, and then just reflect and just realize, you know what? I'm gonna be okay. And you might be struggling with that right now, and that's okay if you are. But understand this, you are not in control of most of, if not all of the circumstances and outcomes that happen throughout your lifetime. But what I encourage each and every single one of you to do, if you're struggling with this right now, is to simply look at life from a whole nother perspective. And that may mean you smile more. You become more grateful for the things that you do have instead of what you don't have. Or just simply put, be thankful for God for giving you another life to live, because that by itself is a huge blessing. The other thing that we have to recognize is that we were not meant to be put on this earth and walk through life alone, which goes right into my second point. Surrounding yourself with important people in your life. See, I wouldn't be the man that I am today if I didn't surround myself with the important people that have shaped me to be the man that I am today. As the late Jim Rohn once said, you are the 5 people you hang out with the most. And what he meant by that is each person has a certain characteristic or trait. And chances are, these people that you're spending so much time with, you're gonna pick up those traits yourself. Kind of gets you thinking a little bit. So what I encourage each of you to do is look at each of your friends, especially those you hang out with the most, and ask yourself these questions. Do they lift me up whenever I feel down? Do they stay 100% real with me? And do they encourage me and push me to be the man or woman that God wants me to be? And the third most important thing that I learned about myself was my drive to never give up, no matter what life threw at me. Now, mind you, I had my good days and I have my bad days. We all go through that. That's life. Whenever I had my days of victories, I celebrated those times. And when I had my times of difficulties or uncertainty, that is where I learned my most difficult lessons. So what I encourage each of you to do, taking that into account, for two things. One, if you're having a quote-unquote bad day, think of it as a character building day. And number two, regardless of what life throws at you, no matter what doubts people say to you or what people think of you, that is where you keep pressing forward because you have a purpose. God has given you that purpose for a reason. So to recap everything I just mentioned, number one, keep a positive attitude. Number two, surround yourself with people who are loving, honest, and encouraging. And number three, never, under any circumstances, give up on the truest desires of your heart. Be the person that you were meant to become. Thank you and God bless.